I'm 80 years old. I say that slowly now, because the number still surprises me. 80. When I was young, 80 felt like a distant country I'd never visit. Old people were other people. Not me. Not my life. My best friend of 57 years died last month. His name was Daniel. Everyone called him Dan. I've said his name every day since he left. Usually out loud, usually when no one is around. I keep expecting him to call, or knock, or complain about his knee like he always did. He won't. And that's when the regret finally landed. Not all at once. It came quietly. Like something heavy being set down inside my chest. And I realized something that scared me more than death itself. If I could rewind my life, I wouldn't change the big things. I wouldn't change where I lived or what I owned. I would change how much time I wasted thinking I had more time. I met Dan when I was 23. We worked at the same machine shop. Same shift, same greasy lunch table. He had a loud laugh and a habit of humming when he focused. I remember thinking he was too relaxed, too slow. I was in a hurry back then. Always in a hurry. I wanted more money. A better title. Respect. I wanted to be seen as someone important. Dan wanted to go home on time. We became friends anyway. Lunch turned into beers. Beers turned into weekends fishing. Then marriages, kids, mortgage. Life kept stacking up. I worked longer hours. I said yes to overtime, even when I didn't need it. I told myself I was doing it for my family. And part of me believed that. But another part wanted to win at something. I wanted to feel ahead. Dan would shake his head when I skipped fishing trips. Work'll still be there tomorrow, he'd say. I'd laugh and tell him he didn't understand ambition. He didn't argue. He just went fishing without me. I missed my daughter's school play once. Just once, I told myself. But I still remember the look on her face when she scanned the crowd and didn't see me. She smiled anyway. Kids learn early how to hide disappointment. I missed my son's baseball game because a client needed something urgent. My wife stopped asking me to come home early after a while. She learned which version of me was reliable. Dan came to everything. He showed up with snacks, folding chairs, extra jackets. My kids called him Uncle Dan. I didn't notice at the time, but he was building a life while I was chasing one. The cost didn't arrive like a bill. It came in small pieces. My marriage didn't end with a fight. It ended with silence. We became polite roommates, then strangers who knew each other's schedules too well. When my wife left, I told people it was mutual. It wasn't. I just wasn't paying attention when it mattered. My kids grew up. They moved away. Phone calls became shorter. Holidays became complicated. I blamed distance. I didn't want to admit I had trained them not to need me. Dan stayed married. Not perfectly. They argued. They struggled. But he stayed present. He fixed things when they broke. He sat at the table even when it was uncomfortable. I told myself he was lucky. The truth was similar. He chose differently. My health started slipping in my late 50s. Nothing dramatic. Blood pressure, back pain, sleepless nights. Doctors told me to slow down. I nodded and ignored them. Dan retired early. Not rich, just content. He took walks every morning. He learned how to bake bread. He called me more often than I called him. Come by, he'd say. We'll sit. I was always busy. Busy doing what? I can't even tell you now. The realization didn't come when Dan got sick. It didn't come at the hospital. It didn't come at the funeral. It came a week later. I was sitting alone in my kitchen, eating toast over the sink like I do now. I reached for my phone to text Dan about something stupid. A news headline. A joke he'd like. That's when it hit me. There was no one left who knew me the way he did. He remembered my first job, my first heartbreak, my worst mistake. He knew who I was before I became careful and tired and closed off. And I had treated that friendship like it was indestructible, like it would always be there. I sat down at the table and cried in a way I hadn't cried in decades. Quietly, no drama. Just tears falling onto my hands. I wasn't just grieving Dan. I was grieving all the times I chose later. Here's the lesson. Just one. And I wish someone had forced me to hear it sooner. Your life is not made of milestones. It's made of ordinary moments you either show up for or you don't. That's it. Not success. Not recognition. Not being right. Showing up. Dan showed up. Even when he was tired. Even when it was inconvenient. Even when nothing special was happening. I thought big moments were what mattered. Promotions. Anniversaries. Big decisions. They're not. It's the Tuesday dinners. The boring conversations. The phone calls you almost skip. Those are the things that build a life. Or leave it empty. If you're in your 20s, you think time is endless. I did too. You think missing something once doesn't matter. It does. If you're in your 30s, you feel pressure to build, to prove, to hustle. I understand that feeling. But don't let it steal everything else. If you're in your 40s, you're tired. I know. You tell yourself you'll reconnect later. Later is not guaranteed. I'm not telling you to quit your job or abandon your goals. I'm telling you this. Look at who you keep postponing. Look at who always calls first. Look at who would notice if you disappeared for a week. That's where your real life is happening. And it's fragile. I visit Dan's grave on Sundays now. I talk to him like he's sitting beside me. I tell him things I should have said earlier. Thank you. I'm sorry. You were right. The cemetery is quiet, peaceful. It smells like cut grass and time. I don't fear death the way I used to. I fear reaching the end and realizing I was never really present while I was alive. If this story made you uncomfortable, that's good. It means you still have time. I don't. When you're done listening to this, don't just scroll away. Call someone. Sit with someone. Show up, because one day, sooner than you think, you'll reach for your phone and realize the moment you kept postponing is gone forever.